Hello and welcome again to my channel. So we are discussing influential points. We are discussing WE points. So I have already uploaded part 1 and part 2 video, and this is part 3 video. I know this is becoming a little lengthy, but try and understand that we have to understand the influential points in detail to use the points perfectly, properly, right? And I guarantee that once you understand the influential points in details, you will enjoy every bit of it. So we have already understood the influential point of chi, blood, tendons, vessels, bone system, right? Today we will understand the marrow system. Now the marrow system is one of the deepest system in TCM, right? So in TCM, marrow does not refer to bone marrow that we know. It includes bone marrow, of course, spinal cord, brain function, and nourishment of the nervous system. It is not just inside the bones as we know as bone marrow, right? So it includes the brain and the spinal cord. So what are the functions of marrow? It nourishes the brain, it supports the spine, it fills the bone, it supports the mental clarity. So let us understand the functions of marrow in detail. The first function of marrow is that it nourishes the brain. It nourishes the brain. So in TCM, the brain is called as the sea of marrow. As the sea of marrow. Why? Because the brain is believed to be nourished and filled by marrow. Why? Because the brain is believed to be nourished and filled by marrow. This marrow provides the essential substances. This marrow provides the essential substances that supports the brain function, right? So where does this marrow come from? Where does this marrow come from? In TCM, marrow is generated from kidney essence that we saw in the last video, right? See, the kidney stores essence. It stores essence, and this essence produces marrow. And this marrow then nourishes the brain, the spine, and the bones. And kidney essence supports the memory, concentration, spinal strength, neurological function, and mental clarity. So when the marrow is abundant, thinking is clear and focused. But if the marrow becomes weak or undernourished, what will happen? The brain and the nervous system lose support and show as what? Poor memory, dizziness, or mental fatigue. So the second function is that marrow supports the spine, right? See, the marrow fills the spinal cord and supports the central nervous system. Now, it allows smooth communication between the brain and the rest of the body. It allows communication between the brain and the rest of the body. So when the marrow is strong, the nerve function and coordination are healthy, right? The third function of marrow is that it fills the bones. Now marrow, it resides inside the bone. So the marrow is inside the bone and nourishes them from within. So the marrow, which is inside the bone, nourishes the bones from within. It supports bone strength, density, and vitality. So healthy marrow ensures strong and resilient bones, right? The fourth function is it supports mental clarity. So since marrow nourishes the brain, it directly influences the mental function. Correct? We saw that the marrow is responsible for nourishing the brain, right? So when marrow is sufficient, the mind is clear, focused, and alert, right? But when the marrow is deficient, there may be what? confusion, poor concentration, or mental fog, right? So, which is that one influential point that can influence the whole marrow system? That is gallbladder 39, right? Where it is located? It is located above the lateral ankle, okay, and it is 3 chun above the lateral malleolus between fibula and peroneal tendons. It is between the fibula and peroneal tendons, right? See, this is the outer malleolus and it is just 3 chun here. So why GB39 is so powerful? Why it influences the marrow? First of all, marrow is deeply connected to kidney essence, brain, and the spinal system, right? Secondly, GB channel has a strong connection with the Shaoyang system. It has a strong connection with the Shaoyang system, which influences the head, brain, and nervous coordination. So we know that Shaoyang channel, it travels through the side of the head, neck, ears, temples, and the lateral body. And Shaoyang channels include GB and triple warmer. So they have a strong influence over, I'll just erase this. They have a strong influence over coordination, sensory function, neurological balance, and communication between interior and exterior. So the gallbladder channel, developed a close relationship with the head and the nervous system, right? So GB39 lies on the GB channel, which already has a strong neurological and head related influence, right? So it nourishes the marrow, it benefits the brain, it supports the neck and the spine, and it strengthens the weakness and helps the neurological function. So clinically, gallbladder 39 is important whenever the marrow and the nervous system are weak or undernourished, correct? So when can we use gallbladder 39? Whenever there is poor memory, there is dizziness, brain fog, tremors, there is spinal weakness, there is numbness, there is delay in development, right? So GB39, it helps to nourish and regulate the marrow system, right? So say for example, a patient comes with chronic dizziness, weak memory, mental fatigue, right? Or maybe cervical weakness or age related decline, right? So this issue is not only local neck tension or fatigue. The deeper issue may involve weakness of the marrow and the essence system, right? So along with the other supportive points, we can add GB39, gallbladder 39, right? To regulate the whole marrow system, So this way, we are treating the root cause of the symptom. So this way, gallbladder 39 does not just treat the legs or neck, it nourishes the marrow system that supports the brain and the spine, right? And when I say meeting point of marrow system, gallbladder 39 is a meeting point of marrow system, means the chi of the marrow gathers here and it becomes more accessible for treatment. So through this one point, we can influence the brain, the spine, and the bone nourishment. right? So when you see deep weakness, not just muscle or bone, but nervous system or brain involvement, just think of gallbladder 39, choose gallbladder 39, right? Now let us move to another major system group in TCM, and that is the Zhang organs, right? Now the Zhang organs are all yin organs. They are all yin organs: the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. So, what are they responsible for? They are responsible for storing, nourishing, regulating, and sustaining life. If we talk about the Fu organs are all yang organs. So, unlike the Fu organs, you know, which constantly moves and transforms the essential substances, the Zhang organs, what do? They store and regulate these essential substances. So, the Fu organs, they are constantly moving and transforming the essential substances, and the Zhang organs, they store and regulate the essential substances, right? So what are the essential substances? They are Qi, blood, essence, fluids, and spirit, or you can say Shen, right? So these are the essential substances which the Zhang organs store and regulate, and the Fu organs, it moves and transforms these essential substances. Let us quickly understand the essential substances, right? So the Qi is responsible for movement, energy, and protection, right? Qi is the body's functional energy. It is a force that allows every physiological process in the body to occur. Any physical activity that happens in our body, Qi is responsible, right? That means for every activity in the body, Qi is required, right? So without Qi, nothing moves, nothing transforms, nothing functions properly, right? Qi also creates movement throughout the body. It helps the blood, fluids, food, waste, and even emotions to move. It helps move the blood, fluids, food, waste, and even emotions. So when Qi becomes stagnant, there may be pain, bloating, tension, and emotional frustration, right? Qi is also responsible for circulation. See, Qi pushes blood through the vessels, right? In TCM, there is a saying, Qi is a commander of blood, right? This means that the blood depends on Qi for proper circulation. So when Qi is weak, circulation may become sluggish, which will result in what? Cold hands and feet, poor circulation, weakness, fatigue, etc. Right? Qi is also responsible for digestion. See, first I told you that Qi is responsible for movement. Then I told you that Qi is responsible for circulation. And Qi is responsible for digestion. See, Qi, with the help of Qi, the digestion takes place because it helps break down food, it helps extract nutrients, and it helps convert food into usable energy. So when digestive Qi becomes weak, we get the symptoms like bloating, poor appetite, fatigue, and loose stools, right? Qi is also responsible for breathing. So Qi is closely connected with the lungs. See, the Qi supports inhalation, exhalation, oxygen exchange, and respiratory function. When Qi is weak, the person may experience shortness of breath, weak voice, fatigue, or recurrent respiratory problems, right? Qi is also responsible for transformation. Qi transforms substances from one form into another. For example, the food becomes Qi and blood. The fluids are distributed throughout the body. Waste is separated and eliminated. So this transforming function is essential for growth, repair, and daily functioning, right? The next essential substance is the blood. See, the blood is one of the body's most important nourishing substances. See, while Qi produces movement and function, blood provides nourishment and support. Correct? Just as a plant needs water and nourishment to grow, the body's tissues, what do they need? They need blood to remain healthy and strong, right? So when the blood is deficient, the tissues, they do not receive proper nourishment. So symptoms like fatigue, dizziness, brittle nails, dry hair, etc. can be noticed, right? Let me erase this. Blood also carries nourishment to the muscles, tendons, skin, organs, and the brain, right? Blood also moistens the body. Blood also moistens the body. See, it keeps the skin soft, it keeps the eyes moist, it keeps the tendons flexible, and it keeps the tissues healthy, right? And when the blood becomes deficient, what we can notice? We will notice dryness, dry skin, dry hair, dry eyes, constipation, stiffness, right? Etc. The next essential substance is the essence, which is also called as Jing. Now, this essence, as I told you earlier, that it is a deepest foundational substance. You know, it is considered the body's deepest and most precious substance. Okay, so Qi helps in daily function, blood provides nourishment, and essence provides a foundation upon which the life is built, right? So essence is responsible for physical growth. It is responsible for the development in childhood, growth of the bones, growth of teeth, and physical maturation, right? So healthy growth, it depends on sufficient essence. Okay, essence guides the body's development processes throughout the life. You know, it supports the puberty, fertility, maturation, and normal physical development. So when the essence is weak, development may be delayed or impaired, right? And essence also influences the reproduction. It influences the fertility, reproductive capacity, pregnancy, and even healthy aging. So essence also nourishes the bones because kidney essence provides deep nourishment needed for the bone strength, skeletal development, posture, and structural stability, right? And when the essence declines, bones may weaken. And we just saw that essence produces marrow, and the marrow nourishes the bones, the spine, and the brain, right? The fourth essential substance is the spirit or the Shen, right? Now, Shen, which is often translated as spirit, or it is referred to as mental, emotional, and conscious activity. It is referred to our mental, emotional, and conscious activity. What does it include? It includes awareness, thinking, emotions, memory, sleep, communication, and our ability to interact with the world. Okay, because the Shen gives us the awareness, it gives us the consciousness of ourselves and our surroundings. It allows us to think, perceive, respond, and remain mentally present. So when Shen is strong, the mind is clear and alert, right? Shen also regulates the emotional balance. It allows us to experience emotions appropriately, and it responds to life in a balanced way, right? So when the Shen is disturbed, the emotions may become excessive, unstable, or difficult to manage, right? And we may see the symptoms like anxiety, irritability, emotional instability also may occur, right? Shen also supports concentration, memory, focus, and clear thinking. So when Shen is well nourished, the mind feels calm, focused, and organized, right? But when it is weak, a person may notice brain fog, poor concentration, forgetfulness, or confusion, right? And in TCM, healthy sleep depends on Shen being calm and anchored. So if the Shen is calm and anchored, right, there is no disturbance in sleep. At night, when the Shen should settle peacefully, if Shen is disturbed, sleep may become restless, interrupted, you know, light, or difficult to initiate, difficult to fall asleep, right? So that means if the Shen is disturbed, it leads to insomnia also, and also leads to vivid dreams, right? Restlessness. So the Zhang organs, they are deeply connected to the vitality. All the Zhang organs are deeply connected to the vitality, nourishment, emotional balance, growth, chronic health, and internal harmony, right? And each Zhang organ has a special nourishing and regulatory role within the body. They have a special role to play in the body. Like the heart governs the blood circulation and houses the mind. The lungs regulates the chi and respiration. The spleen transforms food into chi and blood, into nourishment and energy. The liver ensures smooth movement of chi and stores blood. And the kidney stores essence, the deep foundation of growth, bones, and marrow. So when the Zhang organs become weak or imbalanced, what happens? The body gradually loses nourishment and internal harmony. Right? And because the Zhang organs, as I told you, the Zhang organs, they store the body's essential substances. So when there is disturbance, what we will see? We will see it will lead to chronic deficiency, fatigue, emotional imbalance, weakness, and poor vitality. There won't be any vitality in the body, right? So now the question becomes, if the entire yin organ system becomes disturbed, which is that point which will help us to regulate the whole system? That is liver 13. So liver 13 is the influential point of the Zhang organs, all the Zhang organs, right? Where it is located? It is located at the free end of the 11th rib. Okay, so this is the 11th rib. It is located over here. So why is liver 13 powerful? Why it is powerful? See, the Zhang organs, they depend on the smooth movement of chi, right? And nourishment of the blood, right? So, and we also know that liver, it makes sure that the chi flows freely throughout the body, right? And the spleen produces chi and blood from food. So when liver chi flows smoothly, when the liver chi flows smoothly, all the Zhang organs, which organs? The heart, the lungs, the spleen, the liver, and the kidney, they can communicate and function harmoniously. See, the spleen's role is to transform food and drink into blood. Correct? To transform food and drink into chi and blood. Say for example, if liver chi stagnates, what will happen? If spleen is responsible to transform food and drinks into chi and blood, right? So and this can be possible when liver chi is flowing smoothly. But if liver chi stagnates, what will happen? It will obstruct the spleen. which leads to bloating, poor appetite, fatigue, right? So it can affect it can attack the spleen and affect the digestion, right? And when spleen becomes weak, what happens? It cannot produce enough chi and blood to support the liver. So it is kind of a vicious cycle, it is kind of a vicious cycle. When spleen becomes weak, it will not be able to provide chi and blood to the liver, and when the liver becomes stagnant, it attacks the spleen. You understand? Also, liver 3 is the front move of spleen. It is the front move point of the spleen. That means that this point has a direct relationship with both the organs because it connects the liver channel. And with the spleen front move function, liver 13 becomes the important point for regulating the relationship of these two organs, right? And since the liver governs the movement of chi, and the spleen is the source of chi and blood production. So balancing these two organs helps support all the Zhang organs, right? So when we balance these two organs, all the Zhang organs are supported, and that is why liver 13 is a powerful point, right? And when we say that liver 13 is a meeting point, it means that the chi of the Zhang organs gather over here. It means that the chi and the essence of the Zhang organs gather over here, right? And it becomes accessible at this point. It means the functional activity of the yin organs, of the Zhang organs, become accessible at this point, right? So through liver 13, we can influence harmony in organs, nourishment, regulation, communication between the Zhang organs, emotional balance, and chronic deficiency patterns. So we can influence all these factors, right? We can influence all these factors. So when can we use liver 13? We can use liver 13 whenever there is fatigue, insomnia, poor digestion, emotional instability, low vitality, chronic weakness, or poor concentration. And remember that chi must flow for all the Zhang organs to function, right? Another major system of the group is the Fu organs, right? See, the Fu organs are the yang organs. What are the yang organs? Stomach, intestines, gallbladder, urinary bladder, and Sanjiao. That means triple warmer. What are the functions of Fu organ? They receive, they digest, they transform, they transport, they eliminate. So unlike the Zhang organs, we saw that the Zhang organs, they store and preserve the essential substances. And the Fu organs, they are constantly active. Fu organs are constantly active, right? They are deeply connected to movement, transformation, and flow. They are deeply connected to movement, transformation, and flow. They receive food and fluids. They extract nourishment. They move substances throughout the body. What do they do? They move substances throughout the body and they eliminate wastes. Right? The Fu organs, they make sure that the food and the fluids and the waste, they keep on moving through the body. What do? They make sure that the food, fluids and the waste, they keep on moving through the body, right? So they are responsible for digestion, absorption, transportation, fluid movement and elimination, right? So what does the stomach do? It receives the food and it begins to digest. It starts ripening the food. SI separates useful nourishment from the waste. So it separates pure from the impure. The large intestine absorbs remaining fluids and eliminates the stool, eliminates the waste. The gallbladder stores bile for digestion and is also associated with courage and decision making. Bladder, urinary bladder, stores and excretes urine, helping regulate the fluid balance. And the Sanjiao or the triple warmer coordinates the movement of chi and fluids throughout the body, making sure that the communication between the different body regions are happening, right? So together the four organs are responsible for receiving nourishment, transforming substances, transporting what is useful, and eliminating what is no longer needed. So they are the body's movement and processing system. So the four organs are body's movement and processing system. So without proper food organ function, food cannot become nourishment. Food cannot become nourishment. Fluids cannot be distributed. Fluids cannot be distributed, and the waste cannot be moved, right? So without the proper function of four organs, all these cannot happen. So when the four organ is disturbed, when the four organs lose their ability to move and transform, when they are not able to move and transform, so stagnation develops. What happens? Stagnation develops. And this stagnation can be seen as bloating, fullness, constipation, nausea, retention, or digestive dysfunction, right? And in TCM, it is said that stagnation is often the beginning of the disease. So stagnation is often the beginning of disease. So now the question becomes, if the entire yang organ system is not functioning properly, which point can help regulate the whole system? Which is that influential point that can help regulate the whole system, that can help influence the whole system? The influential point of four organs is REN 17 or CV12, that is conception vessel 12. Where it is located? It is located 4 chun above the umbilicus, right? So here is CV12. Here is the umbilicus and here is CV12, right? It is on the anterior midline of the abdomen. It is between the umbilicus and the sternocostal angle, right? So why is CV12 so powerful, right? See, CV12 is one of the most powerful points in the body. Why? Because it regulates the center of digestion. It regulates the center of digestion. And stomach is considered the most important food organ. Stomach is considered the most important food organ. Why? Because all the food and drink first enters the stomach. It first enters the stomach before being processed by the digestive system. So the stomach has 4 key functions. The stomach, it has 4 key functions. The first one is it receives food. Second, it ripens the food. Third, it transforms the food into usable energy. Fourth, it sends it downwards to the intestine. So because of this central role, the stomach acts as a foundation of all the food organ activity, right? The stomach, it acts as the foundation of all the food organ activity. So all the food organs that depend on proper stomach function. So it depends on the proper stomach function to carry out their own processes. See, SI separates pure from impure. Li eliminates waste. Gallbladder supports digestion. Urinary bladder manages the fluids. The triple warmer ensures all movement, overall movement and distribution. It makes sure that this all distribution and overall movement is going on properly. So all of these, that depend on the proper functioning of the stomach. And CV12 is located right in the center of the abdomen. It is located right in the center of the abdomen at the middle jiao, right, where all the digestive transformation begins, right? So by regulating the stomach chi, CV12 restores the entire digestive mechanism, right? So when the digestion improves, chi and blood production improves, right? I'll just erase this. So when the digestion improves, chi and blood production improves, obviously, which then supports all the other organs, right? So chi of the four organs gather here means what? It means the functional activity of the yang organs becomes accessible at this point. It becomes accessible at CV12, right? So through CV12, through conception vessel 12, through REN 12, we can influence the entire movement and transformation system of the body. We can influence the entire movement and transformation system of the body. Isn't it amazing? So when do we use it? So whenever there is bloating, nausea, poor appetite, reflux, constipation, abdominal fullness, fluid retention, stagnation, poor elimination, or digestive obstruction, right? Say for example, if a patient comes with acid reflux, comes with frequent belching, comes with nausea, complains of heaviness after meals. So all these symptoms, what do they indicate? They indicate that the stomach chi is not moving downward properly. The transformation and the transportation functions of the four organs have become impaired, is not working well, is not working properly, right? So rather than treating each symptom separately, we can regulate the whole system behind it, right? So that is why CV12 becomes a key point in this treatment. So along with all the other points, like the local points, or maybe the command points, or yawn source point, front shu point, back shu point, so we can use CV12 along with those points. So this way we will be treating the root cause of the problem. So today we explored the 8 influential points, right? 8 extraordinary points. So where the chi and the essence of the major body system gathers. We also learned that these points, they do not simply treat one location. They do not treat one symptom. They do not actually act on any one organ, but instead they influence the entire system. They influence the entire system of the body, right? So each influential point or each Hui points gives us access to a major functional network, right? So when chi is disturbed, we regulate the chi system. If blood is disturbed, we regulate the blood system by using the influential points, by regulating the blood system. When the tendons, the vessels, the bones, the marrow, are affected, we address the entire structural system behind the symptoms. And when the organ harmony is disturbed, is lost, we influence the Zhang and the Fu systems themselves, right? So instead of thinking where the problem is, right, start thinking what is affected. Is it chi? Is it blood? Is it tendons? Is it bones? Is it marrow? Is it Zhang organs or Fu organs, right? So Hui points, the influential points, are not about location, not about single organ. They are about the system level regulation, right? So it does not mean that we stop using other categories of points. Like we can still use the local points, we can use the organ points, we can use the channel points, Yon source points, Luo points, or 5 Shu points according to the case. But along with them, if we add influential point of the affected system, right, so the treatment becomes more effective. So this is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed the journey of understanding the influential points, the Hui points. Alright, I'll come up with some other topic. Until then, take good care of yourself. Thank you.